Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of the Heron's Haven podcast here on the Sofa Soccer channel. I'm your host, Matt. And today we have a couple of things to talk about here, a lot to discuss. Um, I'm very disappointed. Off for it. Very disappointed, very upset, very mad. Uh, there is just no way that is going to slide. There is no way that Inter Miami plays a game at home against a struggling Atlanta side in 14th place in the Eastern Conference. Now they're probably higher after that win, right? But against a struggling Atlanta side who has been doing who's played in a manner that every team that we faced so far has been playing against us. Like every team that we played so far played in that same tactic, right? That was probably the worst game I've seen from Inter Miami performance wise in a really long time. In a really long time. It is heartbreaking. It's a heartbreaking defeat, heartbreaking performance, an absolutely frustrating and inexcusable performance from the team. And we have a couple of things to talk about here. It's oh my gosh, dude. Terrible. Ace Lionel already in the chat. Thank you for being here so early. It was a horrible game, man. And I'm gonna be talking. I'm gonna be talking strictly emotional here. I don't have like a set like list, a checklist of things that I want to talk about, but I'm just going off based pure emotion, right? It's oh my god, dude. We have so much to talk about. Like it's not even funny. First of all, let's not get ahead of ourselves. First of all, let's take a look at the starting lineup, okay? Before we get into anything, we'll take a look at the starting lineup. And then from there, we'll just talk a little bit about each player. And then so we don't change what we normally do in any podcast video, right? So let's take a look at the starting lineup here. And it's the 4-3-3 formation, like how we've always been playing. So in goalkeeper, sorry. In goal, we have Drake Calendar, excuse me, and which did okay. He made a couple of good saves, but yeah, I mean, it wasn't completely his fault. We conceded those goals. That's mainly onto the defense, which we'll discuss here. The four defenders for this game were Jordi Alba, Sergei Kristov, Aviles, and Chelo Engant. The three midfielders were Federico Redondo, Sergio Busquets, and Julian Gressel. And the front three was Robert Taylor, Luis Suarez, and Lionel Messi. Oh my gosh, dude, where do I start, man? Where do I start? Like, let's talk about the obvious thing here. The obvious thing here is the defense. That was the worst defensive performance I've ever seen from this Miami side, and that says a lot because we have been shaky. We have been terrible defensively this season. We have been absolutely awful defensively, very inconsistent. But with Freire and with sometimes with Aviles, but having Freire there at the back and just playing with the back four, it felt a little more secure, especially during this 10-win streak run. We definitely felt more secure. I mean, obviously we took the knock from Freire. I knew that was gonna really hurt us defensively, and it turns out it did. Last game we didn't suffer from it. Last game we didn't feel it. Today we felt it. Kritsov, Kritsov was our best defender out there, and I was the biggest Kritsov hater earlier in the season, saying how slow he is, how whatever he is. Kritsov was our best defender out there. I don't care what anybody says. Kritsov was the best defender out of Chelo, out of Aviles. Aviles did horrible. I'm going to get to that in a second. Kritsov was our best defender. He was making the tackles. Yeah, he was slow in transition, but when he was faced with a one-on-one, he was getting those blocks in. He was blocking those shots. And that's why he was our best defender, because he literally did the bare minimum as a defender in this league. And it's so disappointing that nobody else did perform the defensive duties up to the standard that we need him to be. Aviles was absolutely horrific tonight, in my opinion. Absolutely horrific. He obviously got a stupid yellow card at some point in the game. Literally had like it was just a stupid reckless foul. Like that was just absolutely not necessary. But besides that, his positioning, his marking was all like it just wasn't there. It was non-existent. He didn't pressure the attacking players. He is the one that's supposed to apply pressure to the attacking players. Can't apply that pressure because he is the wall. Kritsov is essentially the stopper. Aviles literally when Saba scored what? 2 goals, right? Yeah, 2 goals. When Saba scored those 2 goals, it was because Aviles wasn't pressuring him. It was literally because Aviles didn't put any pressure on Saba and gave him all the time and space in the world to move up into their own penalty area, like to move up the midfield and into the penalty area, or to the edge of the penalty area, and then take a wide open shot. It's absolutely unacceptable from Aviles. Um, it, dude, like, and it's just so bad. I can't even blame Drake Callender because it's just when you're put with a defensive line like that, like there's only so much you can do. He's made the saves that needed to be made. I believe he had what, like couples. He had a handful of saves, right? He had 5 saves, and he had a couple of recoveries. It doesn't matter. Like it doesn't matter because he saved what had to be saved, and then what he didn't save, it was more difficult because there was no defense in front of him. Jordi Alba was playing like an inverted wingback, which we've seen him play a little bit before, right? Sometimes he would drift into the midfield to help out, but it completely exposed us at the back. With Jordi Alba in the midfield, I felt like they were able to pass the ball out wide to, I don't know, Almada or Thierry or Saba, whoever was out there on the right wing. Whoever was out there, or Lenin, somebody. Whoever was out there on the right wing for Atlanta, they were completely open, completely free, because when everybody shifts, when Aviles, when Kritsov shifts, and when Chelo shifts, that's it. Like, we're stuck with 3 defenders because Federico's not getting back. Gressel's not getting back. Busquets is not getting back on defense. Nobody's getting back on defense. So we're left with 3 defenders and like 5 or 6 Atlanta players attacking the ball. Dude, it was so bad. Defensively, we were horrendous. And that was the worst. Like I said, that was the worst defensive effort I have seen in a really, really long time. And that is completely unacceptable. And something needs to be done about that. I'm gonna look to the chat. Sorry that I missed the chat. Like I just had to get that off my chest real quick. Let me drink this water and then I'll get to you guys. Midfielders clocked out. Not a truer sentence has been spoken, bro. Not a truer sentence has been spoken from Ace Lionel. No Cremashi, no Luis, no David Ruiz. Del Mora was saying, good evening. So frustrating to watch tonight. We didn't show up 100%. Atlanta parked the bus as they should, bro. As they should. Atlanta did what they needed to do to win the game. Miami did not do what they needed to do to win the game. Literally, we just got completely outplayed by a team who's having a way worse season than us. Atlanta did what they needed to do to win the game, and that's simple as that. No Cremashi, no Ruiz. I predicted that Redondo was gonna start, because he's a favorite, because he's a very talented player. I know I'm shifting in my chair a lot, but my chair has wheels on it, so it keeps moving. And Redondo's a favorite. He's obviously a quality player. Excuse me, guys. Sorry. I was having dinner and drinking water. I'm like filled with gas. Excuse me. But Redondo's performance tonight was absolutely disgraceful. Absolutely disgraceful from what I've seen from Redondo tonight. He, like, oh my God, Redondo. I understand that he just got back from a long-term injury, right? I understand he just got back from a long-term injury. But what was that performance, dude? This guy, I mean, he was running a lot. I could see he was running a lot, and I saw that. But he was making no defensive efforts. He was not getting involved in the attack. Every time that I saw this guy do something, it was just completely useless in my opinion. I think he made a couple of passes here and there, and then he made a couple of recoveries. Not recoveries, just a couple of blocks or just steals, but it was just absolutely horrendous from Redondo. Or was that just me? I thought Redondo should have been subbed off immediately at halftime. Cremashi should have come on, excuse me. I can't even speak English right now. Cremashi should have come on at the half for Redondo, even though the double pivot would have worked if he was actually on his game. He wasn't on his game. We needed somebody. We needed help. Defensively, we needed help offensively. I thought Gressel did okay. It wasn't the best game from Gressel, but I'm not gonna bash Gressel because he's always performing. Always performing. Gressel did okay. I'm not bashing Gressel. I thought he did a good job. I was honestly really upset seeing him getting subbed off. I think it was at the 60th minute instead of seeing Redondo coming off. Redondo should have came off for Kermashi. Gressel should have stayed on the field. Or he should have came off a little bit later, right? Honest, dude. And Busi, I can't be upset at Busi because Busi is Busi. He got the assist. He assisted Messi's goal, which we'll talk about in a minute. But literally, if Busi's not there, bro, Busi actually had to move up the field to help offensively. Like he was sitting back too much, but he was getting beat, and he couldn't make those recoveries. He had to sit. He had to move up, and then Federico Redondo had to stay back. But even then, Fede was doing an awful job. So I'm not gonna bash Busi. I'm not gonna bash Gressel, because they're both of them are really consistent when it comes to performing well. Redondo, I know he's been out for a really long time, but that was just completely unacceptable. And the fact that he's played a full 90 minutes, like what Ace Leoness saying in the chat, why did Tata let him play the full 90? Is absolutely it's disgraceful. It's absolutely disgraceful. That should have never been allowed to happen. I'm trying to look. I've been tweeting the entire time. I've been tweeting throughout the game, just posting, thoughts of mine, from what's actually going on, and I'm trying to find some of that to see like what else I was thinking. Um, but yeah, no, Fede after this game, I know you can't judge. I can't judge him off of this game. It's his first start back. I know he had a couple of minutes off the bench last game. I was really, really excited. I'm really, really happy and excited for Redondo to be back in the team. But a performance like that is completely unacceptable, and he should be benched for the next game. And sure, he can come off. He can come off the bench. Sure, I have no problem. Pero Benja or Ruiz should have started. I was thinking that Benja could have been. So I said in the last stream, Benja should have been. I wasn't gonna be surprised that Benja got benched because the performances weren't like anything crazy, right? It wasn't anything crazy, but I didn't think it was enough. Now thinking about it, it genuinely wasn't enough for you to get benched for somebody who just got back from a long-term injury. I thought even Ruiz should have been out there. Cremashi should have been out there. Rodondo was a no-go tonight. A no-go. Absolutely not. Almada was completely destroying us in that midfield. He was completely destroying us on defense, or like on our defense, his attack, right? Almada completely destroyed us, and it's so frustrating. For the attacking players, dude. For the attacking players, Messi's Messi. We can never ever disrespect Messi. We can never talk shit about Messi because he scored. He scored a banger, and honestly, like his job is to drop deep in the midfield, make some passes, and then score a goal if he has that opportunity and make those plays. It's up to Suarez and Taylor or whoever the other attacker is to score the goals. Suarez should have been subbed off almost immediately. Like he should have been subbed off with Redondo. Redondo and Suarez should have been subbed off at halftime. Campana and Benja should have been subbed on. Taylor should not have come off. I thought Taylor still had something in him. Even though it wasn't like the best performance from Taylor, it was just a struggling game overall for Miami. So everybody's going to be struggling, right? I thought Taylor should have stayed on a little bit longer. Campana should have came on for Taylor. Campana should have came on for Suarez. I absolutely hated how Suarez acted this game, and this is how he normally acts. Pretty much in every game he plays, right? It never seems like he wants to play ball. It never seems like he wants to play ball. It always seems like he wants to complain for a call. This man was calling handball after handball. He was flopping in the box. Like he's looking for fouls. There was an opportunity. I specifically remember an opportunity where he was facing away from goal. He was in the penalty area around the penalty spot. He had three defenders on him, and he simply could have laid it off maybe for Messi or just passed it up, passed it to the outside of the box or somebody. He could have just passed it because there was no way he was going to turn and shoot. There was no possible way. But that's exactly what he does. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about, but this happened in the second half. He literally, instead of passing it off or laying the ball off to another Inter Miami player, he for versing three defenders, he just turns and shoots like the flattest ball you can think of. He just shoots. He completely bottles it. He completely bottles the shot, and he looked so stupid. And from that point, I was like, "Yo, get this guy off the field." Campana should have came on a lot earlier, and he should have came on for Suarez. I thought Matias Rojas coming on the field was not a bad sub, even though I was upset that Gressel came off at the time that he did. I didn't mind that Matias Rojas came off the bench. Honestly, I would have preferred Matias Rojas coming in for Redondo and having Gressel play him a more Redondo type, Busi type role. I would have loved to have Busquets and Gressel play as like a double pivot with Matias Rojas playing as like a cam, or even switching with Messi. And maybe he didn't want to do that because Gressel doesn't really play on the left side, and Matias Rojas would want to link Matias Rojas with Lionel Messi. So when Messi drops, you could put Roja up, um, and like vice versa. So maybe that's why he didn't do that. But yeah, no, I thought everything was backwards tonight. Everything that Inter Miami has done, everything that Tata Martino has done was completely backwards. I know he's having his press conference right now. I just wanted to do this before the press conference release. I don't know what exactly he's going to be talking about. But all I know is that this was an absolutely devastating and absolutely horrific performance. An unexcusable defeat at home at Chase Stadium against a struggling Atlanta side. Oh, geez. I felt like I've been talking so much so fast that my throat is so dry right now. Damn. Excuse me, guys. Anyways, let me look at the chat for a little bit. Del Morva in the chat is saying Tata was subbing players politically tonight. It seemed his lineup decision was so shaky. 100% agree. Almada was cooking, dude. This guy was destroying us on the field. Almada was destroying us on the field. Every time he touched the ball, he was doing something crazy with it. Suarez should have been subbed off since the beginning of the second half. Absolutely. I'm so glad that us three are on the same page. I really am, because I feel like I'm not crazy. It makes me feel like I'm not crazy because I think these things, right? Like you watch the game and you have your opinions and you have your thoughts, and then you think to yourself, am I the only one that thinks this? Like, am I the only one that sees Suarez is not performing well? Am I the only one that sees Redondo not performing to the standard that he should be? And because Tata's not doing anything about it. Tata didn't do anything about it. He just let him play the full 90 like it was nothing. Like they were playing, excuse me, like they were playing perfectly fine. And it's just really frustrating to see that because you think that you're the only person seeing that, but I'm not. So I appreciate you guys. I keep burping, and it's like I just had dinner, like I said, so I really apologize. Oof. Um. Swear. Then one of us says we play as Messi is Jesus himself. We don't step up and enhance Messi playing within the team style. There was a couple of opportunities. This is why I like Gressel, bro. Gressel overlaps Messi. When Messi drops deep, Gressel knows that he's going to have to expose the wing. Like, because Messi's playing on the right wing, right? But Messi drops deep into the midfield. And that gives Gressel the opportunity to overlap Messi. So when he does drop deep, Gressel is an option still on the wing. They just switch places. And it's great. It's great because I like Gressel on the attack. They had a really good attacking opportunity, and probably the best attacking opportunity that they had all game was, I believe, in the first half when Messi received the ball in the midfield. He was running up the midfield. He was about maybe 30 yards away from goal. He was waiting the last minute to pass the ball to Gressel out wide on the right. Gets the pass completed. Gressel then like does a low cross edge of the box to Suarez, and then Suarez completely butchers the shot. And that was the best opportunity, the best attacking play that they've had all game. And but that's why I like that. And I think Matias Rojas can play that role for sure. Redondo can't do that. But that's why I like Russell too, man, because he provides an option on the attack no matter what. Because when Messi drops deep and replaces Gressel in that midfield role, Gressel can move out to the width. He can create more width and create and still be an attacking option. And I feel like Redondo is not an attacking option because we already have Busi and we already have Busi, and I feel like Redondo just doesn't do anything. But anyways, yeah, facts. Whew, I gotta breathe. So I'm talking and I'm not breathing. Um, in Miami is live with the Tata Martino press conference. You could just tell by his face he's absolutely pissed. I'm watching it, and I'm not gonna play. I'm not gonna like play it because I don't want to get copyrighted. But you could tell by his face that Tata's pissed. He's shaking and stuff too. Like he's shaking in his chair. He's pissed. He's absolutely like he's so pissed. But it's his own fault because he didn't make the appropriate changes. The team didn't perform. Absolutely. I'm not blaming the solely on Tata. The team did not perform tonight at all. But Tata did not make the right changes to give us any sort of advantage or just change of play or change of tactic, change of mentality, change of style, nothing. He didn't do anything. He made two substitutions that did nothing for us. Matias Rojas was trying to get in the game, and I could appreciate his efforts, but nothing happened. Like those two. So what did those two subs do for us? What did Campana do for us? What did literally? Realistically? What did Matias Rojas do for us? Even though he tried, even though Campana and them tried, it didn't do anything. Make more substitutes. Make more substitutions. We have 5 substitutions. Use them. We have 5 substitutions. Like I think Atlanta used 4 subs tonight, or even if not 4, they used all 5. 1, 2, 3. They used all 5 substitutions. Atlanta. They used all 5 substitutions. Even Almada came out in the 89th minute. They even took out Sosa, or not Sosa, Saba. They even took out Saba, dude. So it's like, why can't we use our substitutes? We have Cremachi, we have Ruiz, we have Afonso who's ready, we have Sailor, we have Negri. I don't get it. We have Noah Allen. Noah Allen he could have done something. You never know. You just never know. Uh on the foul, it looked like it was on the field. It looked like it was a foul on Jordy before the goal. I mean, regardless, it wouldn't have changed the game. Um, it it's just regardless of that, it's really disappointing how we conceded 3 goals. I'm not taking away anything from Atlanta. What they did tonight was amazing. They did what they needed to do to get the win. They played very, very well attacking football, and they played insane defensive football. They played incredibly insane defensive football. I think they played with like 7 or 8 defenders at the back. Nobody stayed up front when they were on defense. Everybody was in the box, and that's the type of, even though it might be scummy, people say it's rat football, it's scummy football, or that's anti-football, but that's how they won the game. They had everybody in the box. They on the attack, they had everybody on attack. And it worked. It worked. It worked. It worked. The only reason why they conceded was because it was Lionel Messi. When Lionel Messi received that ball, he had less than 2 seconds to 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 compose himself and to strike that bottom right corner. It was the same exact goal that he scored against Mexico in the World Cup. Same exact one. As soon as I saw that goal, or as soon as I saw him receive the ball at that angle, I'm like, it just brought me flashbacks of Mexico. It was a great goal, and even then, when he was composing himself and about to take the shot, there were 2 Atlanta defenders that were pressing him, or they were about to push it. So they were charging at him. So he was being pressured. It was a little late, but he was still being pressured. And so it was just a great goal. So that's not Atlanta's fault. But they did so well defensively. We couldn't break through. We could not break through at all. And Atlanta did very, very well exposing our just terrible defense. They knew we were playing terrible. They knew we weren't able to handle it. And they just exposed it to its full extent. And you have to give them props to that. Then Moeva in the chat is asking, do y'all think Suarez will get called up for the Copa America by Uruguay? And honestly, did I do a video about this? No, I did my podcast on this. I talked about this in the last podcast in the preview if you want to check that out. I talked about it very briefly. Um, because of that injury, the unfortunate injury, I'm pretty sure it was an ACL tear by the backup striker for Uruguay. It's definitely a possibility that Suarez could get called up. And honestly, I hope he doesn't because we really need the depth. I think we're already losing quite a few players on international duty. And I think we want to keep as many players at the club as we can. But yeah, I mean, I hope so. They played Juventus kind of ball, and it worked, bro. It worked. Parking the bus like old school Chelsea. No, you guys, yeah, you guys know, man. You guys know. You guys already know. But that's how they won the game, and it worked, man. We have back-to-back home games this week. Like I've said, we're playing St. Louis City this Saturday at home as well. And honestly, after tonight, we better do something against St. Louis because I'm pretty sure St. Louis are a better team than Atlanta on paper. I'm not an expert on St. Louis because they are a relatively new team and they had an amazing season last season. They are currently sitting 11th place in the Western Conference, but the Western Conference is very, very competitive. 3-7-4 is their record in 14 games. Yeah, we should be winning this game. They've lost their last three, but that's exactly what I said about Atlanta. Atlanta have literally not won a game. Like they haven't won in their last 5 games. We are their first win in 5 games, in 6 games, excuse me. So it's insane. We gave them their 4th win of the season in 15 games. It's absolutely embarrassing, guys. Absolutely embarrassing. But anyways, I think that's going to be it for me for tonight. I don't think I have much to talk about. I am going to upload videos on Inter Miami. My most recent upload was about Angel Di Maria. Before all the news and everybody on Twitter was talking about him moving to Miami, I made a video just talking about the possibility of him moving, what problems that could have at the club, but what benefits it could have as well. And I think it's going to be very, very exciting. It's a very short video, 4-minute video. If you guys want to check that out, that's literally I'm pretty sure that's on the cover. So if you just click on the channel like name, it'll be the first one to pop up. So if you want to check that out, go ahead. And yeah, if I'm gonna wait for you guys. If you guys have any comments or something that you want to let out now would be the time to do so. If not, we'll end it here. Also, I'll give you guys a minute. But yeah. Oof. Yeah, man. Disappointing game. Absolutely horrific game. I forgot to click record on this podcast. Like I'm streaming, but I'm not recording. So I'm going to the podcast on Spotify is going to be a little delayed. I'll probably post it tomorrow, hopefully, if it's uploaded, because I have to download it from YouTube and then upload it on Spotify or edit it a little bit and then upload it on Spotify. So that might get a little delayed. So if you do listen on Spotify, I apologize. But I would try to get that up as soon as possible. I couldn't get the preview up for some reason. Excuse me. I couldn't get the Atlanta preview up on Spotify for some reason. It just wasn't letting me do it. Damn, excuse me, guys. I'm so sorry. But yeah, it wasn't letting me upload the preview for the Atlanta game. So I missed out on that episode on Spotify. So I apologize again. But I mean, everything's here on YouTube. You guys you guys see me talk. You guys can interact. So honestly, it's kind of the best method for this type of podcast. But yeah, um, I'm probably gonna be doing a watch along again. I'm gonna try the watch along again because last time we did the watch along, it did not end up well. Like it's the computer kept or my internet kept like cutting out. It kept crashing. So I'm gonna try again. This Saturday against St. Louis. Hopefully, it was a better game, or it is going to be a better game. But yes, so stay tuned for the watch along. Stay tuned for the preview that I'm gonna do on Friday. And then I'm gonna be uploading another video at some point, probably tomorrow, I'll have a video uploaded, and it's going to be about Diego Gomez and about other transfer rumors that we'll discuss, that we'll briefly talk about in the preview as well. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. Thank you so much for watching the SoFlo Soccer, or excuse me, thank you so much for watching the Heron's Haven podcast here on the SoFlo Soccer channel. Leave a like and a comment down below. Thank you to everybody, Ace Leonel, Gustavo. Thank you to Del Morva for coming and participating in the chat and interacting with me. I appreciate you guys. That means a lot. And thank you to everybody who stopped by and watched and hit like and subscribe to the channel. All of you guys are really, really awesome. I'll see you guys on Friday for the preview, and then Saturday night for the watch along and the post game reaction. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let's do better this Saturday, guys. Let's do better.